Well, greetings. I want to welcome you to another update of how things have been going for me and just a short devotional today. You know, it's been interesting times as it has been since basically March. But, you know, I've had some exciting opportunities these last couple weeks. One was I got to preach for the Kenyan Upendo Church from my office. We had a Zoom meeting and I got to join them for Sabbath school and then their worship service and just had a great time. You'll see a picture on your screen of what I saw during Sabbath school in church, but I was blessed to be with them. It was awesome to see so many individuals that were really bought in to using technology and worshiping together. After that Sabbath, the 20th, Monday, the 22nd, I got to drive up to Roan Mountain. Now, if you don't know where Roan Mountain is, if you look at a map of Tennessee, it's in the northeast corner of Tennessee. And got to meet with some of our pastors that were up there. And then we also got to go up on top of the mountain and look at the beautiful rhododendrons. It was a beautiful day. Makes me miss the Smoky Mountains. But we had a great time, a good group of pastors there, and it's exciting to hear what is happening, even with evangelism, with all of the churches closed, still in many cases. Now, this last Sabbath, it was good to finally be back at my home church here in Calhoun. I was thinking with the kids at our youth Sabbath school, I teach the youth Sabbath school there, I was discussing with them, they asked me the question, when was the last time you were here? And I was like, I don't know. And so I went back to my calendar and the last time I was there was in February. So it was great to be back and see my youth Sabbath school class, but then also see a lot of friends. I've missed them. Yeah, you can call them, you can see them on Zoom, but there's something about being there in person, waving at someone from 6 feet away. This past Wednesday in my devotionals, I started the book of 2nd Chronicles. And you know, 2nd Chronicles begins with Solomon building the temple. So there's a lot of the information on the temple, a lot of how things were built, what was there. And then we get to chapters 6 and 7. The temple is now finished and the celebration begins. Solomon has a speech upon the completion. Solomon has a prayer, and I love the response after that prayer. It says in 2 Chronicles 7 verse 1, when Solomon had finished praying, fire came down from heaven and consumed the burnt offering and the sacrifices, and the glory of the Lord filled the temple. I imagine Solomon going to bed that night or one of the nights right after this celebration, laying there in bed, thinking about all of the blessings that he had witnessed. The temple is done. God has signified his acceptance of what has been done. And as he's laying there in 2 Chronicles 7 verse 12, God appears to him for a second time. It says, then the Lord appeared to Solomon by night and said to him, I have heard your prayer and have chosen this place for myself as a house of sacrifice. Reading through that, I came to a verse that I believe is so applicable for us today. In this world of uncertainty, in this world of very strong emotions, verse 14 of 2 Chronicles, God says this, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. You know, as I read that, the last words of that verse just caught my attention. as you turn on the news, as you get on your computer, you realize that our land right now is a mess. And I'm like, our land needs healing. I remember sitting in my chair reading that and just stopping and thinking about all the ways that our land could use some help. It all starts with that word, humble. God says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves. How have you humbled yourself? How is God calling you to humble yourself while you're sheltering in place, avoiding big crowds, having conversations, church on Zoom? Maybe it's with a neighbor. Maybe it's with a family member. How is He inviting you and me to humble ourselves? And then it goes on, pray and seek my face. I'm reminded of the story, parable of a lion. There was once a lion who was very proud of his mastery over the rest of the kingdom. So one day he decided that he was going to make sure that all of the other animals in the jungle knew who he was and how important he was. He was so sure of himself that he passed by the other animals and decided he was going to first start with the bear. He went up to the bear and he stopped and he asked, "Who's the king of the jungle?" The bear replied, well, you are, of course. The lion walked away, proud. He next found a tiger and asked him, Who is the king of the jungle? The tiger quickly responded, well, everybody knows you are. Next on the lion's list was an elephant. He found an elephant and he went up to the elephant and he said, "Who's the king of the jungle?" The elephant immediately grabbed the lion by his trunk, spun him around a few times, threw him onto the ground, stepped on him, picked him up, threw him in the water, pulled him back out of the water, then tossed him up against a tree. The lion, rather dazed, wondering what was going on, quickly jumped to his feet and replied, "Look, just because you know the answer doesn't mean you need to get upset." What was the lion's problem? He was blinded by his own sight. The humbleness wasn't there. Here is an invitation for us in Georgia-Cumberland Conference. How can we follow this? Because I believe this invitation here to Solomon was not just an invitation made right after the dedication of the temple. I believe that it's an invitation for you and me today. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, pray and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. I want my land healed. How about you? Until next time, may God bless you. And remember, our purpose is to reach those around us with the unique Seventh-day Adventist Christ-centered message of hope and wholeness. God bless.